What's up, agency owners? Jason Swenk here. Got another amazing guest, friend, and mastermind member, Antoine, and we're going to talk about how he's grown a multi-million-dollar agency. A lot of amazing insights in this interview, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hey, Antoine, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
Yeah, man, excited to have you on. So briefly tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah. So my name is Antoine Gagné, and I run a Facebook advertising agency in Canada, the French part of Canada. So maybe you'll sit with my accent. And yeah, I'm super happy to be with you here. Listen to your show a couple of times. I have the chance to work with you now in the mastermind, and hopefully we can give some tips to your audience today.
Awesome. So tell me, how did you start your agency? I'm always curious.
Yeah, so roughly, I guess a little bit like everyone. It was by pure luck. When I was a little bit younger, I was actually hosting a lot of events in different bars in the city that I was living in. And then the way I was bringing people to my events was by using social media. And then I realized that I was kind of good using social media, and a lot of people were coming to my events. So I was roughly a promoters. And at some point, I realized that, if I can do that for my events, maybe I can use this knowledge for other companies and then provide services. And then from there, slowly but surely, I realized that, at that time, it was roughly 2012, 2013. Social media was kind of new for people in Canada, for people where I was living in. And I was selling these kind of social media management package. And then slowly but surely, the agency grew. But to go back to your question, it was not supposed to be like that. And I just saw an opportunity and I went into it.
Awesome. And talk about what was the turning point in your agency where because there's lots of agency owners that are just trying to get over the multi-million mark, right? Like I feel that we
Yeah.
can get to a million kind of by accident, but really to get to your level, there kind of takes planning and strategy, a little bit of luck, but and a lot of hard work. What were some of the things that you did to enable you to do that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say the most important thing is just to figure out one. Let's say I speak for myself here. Okay, one service that you're kind of good at and that you're able to sell repeatedly. So, like I told you at the beginning, where we were a social media agency, we were creating content, managing Facebook and Instagram pages, and we were doing other things, graphic design, and so many things. And then at some point, we realized that we're kind of good at creating content, and we're kind of good at also running ads on Facebook. And then we just decided to do only that. And it was the only thing that we've been doing since then. And slowly but surely, what happened is people realize that you're super specialized into this. So it's easy for them to refer you to other people that are looking for this exact services. And then the sales cycle is always the same. It gives you strength to raise your prices. Automatically, you become better at it. So you're able to get better clients after. So the key for us, and it's not really new, has been only to niche and not to go after a lot of services. Only do one great service for roughly the same type of clients, and you don't stop. You just continue and continue, and then at some point, your sales cycle is done in a way that it becomes almost easy for you to get these clients. And then you get to a million, and the second million is a bit easier than the first one, and the third million is a bit easier than the second one, and then it just go on and on like that. And okay, it's not that easy, but that's to make it simple for your admins. That's what happened to us. Literally finding one service and just go all in into it.
No, I love it because it's so true. It's about just keeping it simple. And you mentioned raising prices. A lot of agencies struggle with this. How did you know to start raising your prices? Because that enables you to do so much when you're making more profit.
Yeah, of course. Like I do think that if you have an agency and you're not focused on profit, you're just in the wrong business. Like we're not in the kind of business where we're looking for top line revenue and being the only on the market to offer this kind of services. This is not the kind of business that we're in. So you need to realize that really, really quickly. That being said, the way we structure our price, at some point, we just realize we look at the different pod in our agency, how much money we were making in any pod. And then we did the simple math and we said, okay, we want to make at least 40% net revenue with all these different pods. What is the price that we should put to our services? And what is the amount of clients that we could get in all these pods? And then we did the math and we find price. And that was our new price. And then we expressed that to new clients and they said yes. And then if this new price work with new clients, then you should try it for existing clients. Maybe you don't go necessarily at the same pace, depending on how long these clients have been with you. But you need to do this math. Like, what is the exact net profit margin that you're looking at? And then adjust your price around that, because it needs to be like that at some point. Actually, for us, it has been like that and it worked out. So I would maybe encourage your audience to look at it that way.
I like how you start with profit first and then backwards math into it, because a lot of people start with revenue first and they go, well, this is what I want to make, but then they don't make anything on profit, which means nothing. And then when I have a conversation with them in order to scale their agency or maybe even possibly buy their agency, then it's a different conversation. They're like, oh, my agency is not worth as much as I thought it was because it's not profitable, or as profitable as I thought it was.
Yeah, like I said, I think you're in the wrong business if you do not focus on profit. Like you're in the services here. Like it's different. We're not a tech company. We're not valued on multiple on revenue. We're only valued on EBITDA. And if you're looking at different things, you're just missing the boat. So I think it's super important. That being said, it needs, sometimes you start with revenue in mind because you do think that you need to become the bigger. And then just at some point, you realize that, you know what, it doesn't really make sense. It takes a couple of years. Actually, for me, it took a couple of years to realize that. It was not crystal clear at the beginning. But when you realize that actually the only real thing that's important here is net profit. And then after that, to increase net profit, obviously at some point you need to generate more revenue, but it's super important because the way you look at your business when you're putting so much effort on profit compared to revenue is totally different. For us, it helped us to create new services to improve the profit margin instead of creating new services to increase the revenue that we were doing. So I do think that for your listeners today, making sure that profit is always the first thing that you're looking at least for us, it helped us a lot to grow and hopefully become a bit more healthy with our financial situation.
I love it. In switching focus a little bit, I want to talk about an acquisition in order to grow your agency. Obviously, it's worked for our agency that we've been doing over the past 2 years and growing through acquisition. And I think because you've kind of heard that, or maybe it was already in the back of your head, you've just done one acquisition. And so tell us a little bit about this and why you are looking to acquire agencies.
Yeah, this is a good question. So to make it simple for your audience today, the way we looked at it was really through acqui-hire. So there's a lot of way to acquire companies. You can acquire companies for their list of clients, acquire companies for their intellectual property. Sorry for that. But for us, it was only resources. So to give context to your audience a bit more, we are a Facebook advertising agency. And obviously our clients have other needs. And then we realized at some point that, you know, I don't need to explain to you what happened to Facebook in the past 2 or 3 years, but maybe let's
Are
say
they
it
still
was
called
not that
Facebook?
easy. Yeah, yeah. I heard that their valuation went down. I don't know if you looked at it, but a lot of things change. And at some point, we realized that with everything that was happening with iOS 14, with all the changes in the advertising ecosystem, to be positioned as only a Facebook advertising agency, maybe we were not in a position of strength because people, they were not getting the same results as before, and attribution was totally different now. The platform were not as good as before. So then we realized that what clients really wanted is a one-stop shop that can do roughly all the media buying for them. And then we realized that we were not in a position of strength. So we asked ourselves, what is the number one service that our clients want? And then we realized that Google Ads was one, then email marketing was another. And then we did this list. And then we realized that Google Ads was literally the number one service that they were looking at. We were 15 years late to the party. It's not like we're just going to start running Google Ads today and learn how to do that while we need to figure out how Facebook works now with all these changes. So we realized, like, you know what, we're late to the party. Let's just shop and see what these agencies are doing right now. So our main goal here was only to create a new department. And I do think for your audience, Jason, today it's really important to look at this like that. Acquisition is not only about acquiring an entire company. You can acquire a department. And this is one of the things that I learned. Because when we started to shop, we had meaningful conversation with different agencies. And the final outcome with one of them has been that we didn't acquire the entire agency. We only acquired one of their department. And I realized that this is something that happened. Sometimes you have an agency, you have different department, and some of them are not necessarily profitable for you, or you just don't want to manage this department anymore. And if you're creative enough and you can structure a deal where you come and you only acquire the employees that are in a specific department with their list of clients, this can be a transaction, and this can be a transaction really good for both sides. And at the end of the day, that's what we did. It was an agency that they were offering SEO, Google Ads, Facebook Ads. Obviously, we were not interested with the Facebook Ads department, either with the SEO, but the Google Ads department was interesting for us. So we structure a deal in a way that we've been able to get their department coming at us. And then, from one day to another, we now add a Google Ads department. And when you start doing that, and I'm pretty sure you know that, Jason, you start to become a bit addicted, right? And then you get one, and then you want to do another. So right now I'm in the process of a couple of other acquisition, but I would encourage business owners, agency owners that would like to grow their agencies in 2022. We all know what's happening right now with human resources. It's harder than ever to find great resources. And it's not true that everyone wants to keep their agencies. A lot of people want to do other things. And if you come at the right time with the right offer, most of the time I realize that people are interested to know a little bit more. And then from there, you trying to find a good deal, and hopefully you can do this transaction.
I never thought about, we've always done a lot of times asset purchases, right? Which that's what you did, but we usually buy all the assets. But I never thought about just buying a department. That's pretty brilliant. And thinking about there's tons of agencies out there that, like you said, they're doing so many things and they don't want to manage a certain department. Now, the department that you bought, was it profitable, or did you just buy that because you were like, I wanted to acquire this talent and some clients to get a good base?
Yeah, this department was 100% profitable, and I can even give you a little bit the context. Do you think it could benefit your audience
Of course,
to under?
yes.
Okay, perfect. So we came, and like I said, the Google Ads department was interesting for us, and the way we structured the deal at the end, we realized that the employees in this specific department were not in love with the company anymore. They were not in love with the company that we were going to acquire. So at some point, and the owner knew it. The owner knew it, that it was maybe a matter of time before he could lose all of these employees. So what we did when the owner and us realized that it was not super healthy inside this agency with this specific department. We made a deal telling him, you know what, we're going to acquire this department. It was roughly $25,000 a month, monthly recurring revenue that this department was doing. So not a big thing, but enough for us to build the department. That's how we saw it, right? So we came and it was roughly $25,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We acquired this department. The department came to us. We started to pay all the employees in this department. We were managing these clients, and then the other agency, and we're still in the process now, invoicing, sorry for that, the clients. So they still invoice for $25,000 a month, the clients, and us, we invoice the business owners 50% of this invoice. Okay. And 50% of this invoice is enough for us right now to pay the employees that we acquire. So the clients is making roughly $13,000, not the client, sorry, the agency that we acquire is making roughly $13,000 a month right now by, just it's basically affiliation at that point. And then for us now, we have the people working for us so we can do other things with these people. We still have these clients that literally fund these employees that help us to do other things with the company. And for both sides, we see this deal as a win-win. You would be surprised how many business owners sometimes they just want to get rid of a department. You would be surprised. And when you're at that point that people are not interested anymore in a specific department, that's where you can be creative enough and structure a good deal.
I love it. That's so brilliant. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. I wish I developed this strategy a long time ago.
I've been lucky enough a bit, Jason. At the beginning, I was going to buy the entire company, but then I started to see a couple of red flags. And this is another thing for people who are listening today and thinking about acquisition. If you start to see some red flags, like don't be romantic about it. Like, sometimes it's just better to get out of a deal. And I'm telling you that I'm roughly in 5 different deals right now that I'm looking at it, agencies or e-com businesses. And sometimes people are just, they do think that their company is worth so much money when it's not actually. So you need to be sure that if you see so many red flags, you move away. That's what I did. And by moving away, it literally opened the doors to a different deal because the business owner then came back to me and said, 1 minute, okay, maybe we can find something. And at that point, I became creative. So another tip is never be scared of moving away. Sometimes it can open some doors.
Yeah. How much time does it take? That's probably what some people are thinking about when you approach an agency to buy and then go through the due diligence and the deal structure. How much of your time is dedicated to this now?
Right now, I put between 5 and 10 hours a week to look at companies that I've been willing to acquire. So I acquired in the past 6 months 2 e-com companies, one agency, and it's kind of cool. Like you realize that it's not as hard as we think. So this is the amount of time. Now, from the moment you're interested in a company and the moment you conclude the transaction, everything depends on the size of the deal. So I told you the numbers earlier: small transactions, over less than a million, less than $500,000 a year, the specific department. So it has been kind of quick. We did that in roughly 2 months and a half. But other transaction that I'm looking at right now, they're a little bit bigger. This takes a bit more time for obvious reasons. So yeah, if you can dedicate at least 5 to 7 hours a week just outreaching different companies, you'd be surprised. You're going to get meetings. Only a great cold email or message on LinkedIn, you will be surprised.
I love it. Is there, Antoine, this has all been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the audience? And let's say you were listening 2 years ago, what would help you out?
Um, Yeah, I know. I guess a lot of people that are listening to your podcasts are agency owners. I guess. I've been in your mastermind for a couple of months now, Jason, and I see a lot of value into it. So if people are thinking about getting more tips, go see Jason. I think your mastermind is kind of cool. And yeah, talking about acquisition, like just go for it. You will be surprised. We're in a time right now, especially in the media buying space, where a lot of shift, a lot of things change. And when things change, people quit and others stay. And when people quit and others stay, usually that's what we do call opportunity. And if you're smart enough to understand that right now, yeah, it's kind of chaos in the Facebook ad space and advertising ecosystem with the end of cookies, iOS 14. Yeah, you realize that a lot of agencies are moving away, and these agencies, you can buy them. So open your eyes. A lot of opportunities are out there.
Awesome. Antoine, what's the agency website people can go and check you guys out, especially if they want to sell you their agency or part of it?
Yeah, why not? Like, yeah, of course. And honestly, maybe people are listening today, and they'll be they're a little bit tired with their agency. So yeah, go check on me on LinkedIn, Antoine Gagne. My website is j7media.com. Go take a look, and yeah, open discussion with me. I'm always open to different discussion and see what we can do together.
Awesome. Well, Antoine, thanks so much for coming on the show. And make sure you guys go check out their website. And if you guys are interested in possibly selling or selling a division, check with Antoine. He's an amazing person. He'll treat you right. And if you guys want to be around amazing agency owners where they're constantly going over strategies, like for example, this month, Antoine's going to really break down his strategy for buying acquisitions for the members. And we always have members do that once a month where they share the best strategies, and we don't share those strategies anywhere else. So if you wanted to go check that out, go to digitalagencyelite.com. And until next time, have a swank day.